Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ia Verde, aka Qingzhou Green Finance presentation. So, what is the problem we're trying to solve? As we all know, climate change is one of the great issues of our times. And with this in mind, the Chinese government has announced the China Carbon Neutrality 2060 policy, the official government policy for the nation to reach carbon neutrality by the year 2060. So, what does carbon neutrality mean exactly? Essentially, it just means that the nation will, on net, offset as many greenhouse gas emissions as it generates. Now, this is a monumental task, to say the least, of which renewable energy, new technologies, and innovative finance solutions play a role in. The SDG directly related to this issue that we support is number 13, climate action. The second part of the issue is about developing nation investment, economic growth, and equity. We at Ia Verde believe in the future of sustainable development as opposed to the conventional path of economic growth. This means fossil fuels versus renewable energy, water and soil degradation versus land preservation, old ways of development versus AI and innovation. With our product, we hope to support SDGs 10 and 8, reduce inequalities and decent work and economic growth. So, concretely, what am I talking about here? We at Ia Verde are trying to create an innovative financial product known as carbon bonds or green bonds. The basis of our product starts with our AI model that is trained on a large multi-model data set, allowing us to do the carbon sensing and quantification of natural areas, aka carbon sinks. This is then backed up by a large corpus of biological and historical data in order to accurately calculate the carbon sink potential of a specific area. We then certify this with the United Nations REDD program, an internationally recognized carbon credit framework, and finally, our product is emitted as a smart contract on the fiscal financial blockchain. The vast majority of the world's existing carbon sinks exist in the developing world, with the Portuguese-speaking countries accounting for a significant portion of these. The market opportunity we see here lies in being able to quantify, monitor, connect, and preserve these CO2 sinks with the need to offset carbon emissions of the industrialized world. Going into more detail, we specifically target carbon sinks in the Portuguese-speaking countries with the intent to issue these carbon bonds in the growing Macau bond market. The intended customer being mainland Chinese companies. So I remind you that under the China Carbon Neutrality 2060 policy, it is only a matter of time before all companies in mainland have annual carbon emission quotas. Our bonds are linked to a piece of land and its preservation, and they are priced in RMB and in the local currency. The key concept here is that we are providing a financial incentive for farmers and landowners in the developing world to pursue a more sustainable development model, while at the same time helping China to achieve its carbon neutrality goals. On the technical side, we have designed a multi-model machine learning-based system that takes a large variety of inputs. At its most basic level, satellite images, LiDAR, and thermal imaging, all easily available remotely, and at its most advanced level, drone-mounted geocameras and LiDAR, gas sensors, and soil samples. The KPIs we input into our carbon bonds are backed by extensive biological research, with key metrics such as annual carbon sequestration, ACS, which is akin to the annuity in traditional finance bonds, from which we draw a lot of our inspiration from. Here's a quick look at our machine learning architecture and the output going through the certification and smart contract issuance at the end. As said, we will certify our carbon bonds with the United Nations REDD Plus framework, an internationally recognized and respected framework for the training and management of carbon credits. The blockchain component of our product comes in the final stage, where we issue the carbon bond on the fiscal financial blockchain. This is a Chinese-based blockchain created specifically for financial products. Actually, many of you have already used this without knowing, as it is the technological base for the Macau to Guangdong Health Code exchange and issuance, proving that it is well suited to multi-jurisdiction use, and the blockchain also provides an extra layer of security and reliability to our end product. So, what is our business model? Let's take this sample case as an example. A farmer in Angola's Benga province has a large piece of land, part of which is covered in tropical forest. Instead of following a traditional model of development, which is tearing it down, Ilha Verde gets into contact with him and proposes its green bond solution, which allows the farmer to preserve and profit from his land. The area is appraised and a feasibility study is conducted, and if we find that it has a good carbon sink potential, we will measure and quantify this through our remote sensing machine learning model, forming the basis for a green bond, which we then certify and issue on the Macau bond market via the fiscal financial blockchain. The bond is issued with X duration and purchased by then a Chinese steel company based on its carbon credit par value. We take a commission of 1 to 5% of the market value of the bond, and then also a fixed amount service fee is charged annually for continued monitoring of the carbon sink to ensure that it is being preserved. In the end, the farmer was able to make a return on his land, preserve his nation's water and soil quality, so that's SDG 8 and 10, and the Chinese company was able to offset its carbon emissions quota, so that's SDG 13. The price of carbon credits varies on a global scale, but in China, usually they are valued between 60 and 80 RMB per ton of CO2. To be clear, one carbon credit equates to 1 metric ton of CO2 being prevented from being emitted to the atmosphere or absorbed from the atmosphere. Here we have an example of some of the key performance indexes included in our bond. The key values being its duration, how much carbon it stores on a yearly basis. This is considered the annuity of the bond. So in this case, 11 tons of CO2 per hectare, 150 hectares over 5 years, times 60, it's around almost 500,000. And taking a 5% cut, we estimate a revenue of around 50,000 RMB from a 5-year bond. We estimate that a total investment of around 8 to 10 million RMB is required to get the project off the ground over the course of 3 to 4 years. Our long-term goal is to establish our offices in Hengqin and support Macau's economic diversification and role as a platform between Portuguese-speaking countries and China. We believe the Macau bond market, though in its early stages, is full of potential, and we hope to be one of the pioneers in this area, with the large number of official policies and support both at an international, national, and local level. Our two-market plan is simple and straightforward. We are currently developing the technological base at the University of Macau. We plan to establish an LLC in the next year using the help of the Instituto de Promoção do Comércio, and by 2060, we hope to establish our first offices in Hengqin. So far, China only has a voluntary carbon emissions market, but this has already traded 240 million tons of CO2 since 2021, around 2% of China's yearly emissions that year. There's one guarantee I can give you though, which is this market is going to keep growing exponentially. For comparison, carbon offsets in Europe in 2023 were priced at 85 euros per carbon credit. So that's a 10 times difference in price with the Chinese market. And we believe that the Chinese market will slowly converge on this price as well. Also, a total of 28 billion patakas of traditional bonds have been issued in Macau at the end of 2022. So there's also strong and specific support measures in the form of subsidies and grants in Hengqin for companies in the fintech and green finance fields such as ours. Here is our founding team. We are a strong, diverse, and technically focused team with a machine learning, blockchain, and fintech background, as well as experts in Chinese, Portuguese law, and international collaborators. We truly believe in Macau's role as a platform connecting China and the Portuguese-speaking countries, and in this regard, we have signed 2 MOUs with Angolan agri-tech company Agrigargas and Mozambican company Green Poultry Farm. We've also previously won the Most Innovative Proposal Award in the 2023 Hong Kong FinTech Innovation Competition, and we are currently in the process of applying for a machine learning patent in mainland China, and a relevant research paper related to this topic is in progress. We are also in the process of applying for incubation at UMAC Center for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. About our MOUs and our international collaborators. So these memorandums of understanding that we have signed, our goal is to collaborate with these companies so that they can connect us with stakeholders in their individual countries who are the basis upon which we will publish our product. And in return, we hope to help them leverage our expertise in the Chinese market and leverage Macau as an entry port for their products in the mainland China market. As a closing remark, we believe that green finance is only the beginning, as with our AI model, data gathered, and methodology being developed, we believe that there is a great deal of overlap, allowing us to expand into the fields of agricultural finance, so things such as crop insurance, risk analysis, premiums, and smart agriculture, which includes things like fertility analysis, crop monitoring, etc. Thank you very much.